Mary, you've been involved with the FBI in these kind of investigations. Are there circumstances that you know of where they would not be able to retrieve the data? Because now Quantico, the FBI in Quantico is going to be looking at it.
Yes, in the circumstances where they can't retrieve the data, it's where someone has erased it and knows how to do that effectively. In other words, you don't just erase it, you overwrite or you destroy certain things. You have to be, you not just erase it, but take extra pains. And you know, that too might be very interesting to show how they have overwritten it or erased it or deleted certain things. But when I was Inspector General, we worked aviation crimes with the FBI's Aviation Crimes Unit. And we many times had to recover computer data, and they were pretty good, so I'm going to bet on the FBI. I think that they will be able to get whatever was on there. I just have to believe they're going to be able to see what those files were, unless, and I would be surprised to learn this, unless this erasure was so good and so competent that it wasn't just erased but overwritten.
Even if they can't find what the information that's been overwritten, the mere fact that information was intentionally overwritten can be meaningful.
Yeah, it depends what the erasure is. I mean, I guess I have to confess a little something. I mean, all of us who have flight simulators, you want to land, you want to try to see if you can land. Most of us don't do it successfully, but you want to try to see if you can land at the weirdest places on Earth. You know, you want to see, and they're really good. And so just, flying around the Earth and seeing different places might not tell us much of anything. That's what you do with a flight, like a Microsoft flight simulator. But where they went, what was there, what wasn't there, what's missing, the pains taken to take it away, if anyone else was on the flight simulator, all those things. I mean, I'm pretty confident that if it's there to be gotten, that the FBI will get it, because they just, they're just so good at it.
And Jeff, the FBI is also, we're told, analyzing the co-pilot's computer. You see a number of sort of cumulative acts, operational acts. What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that, Anderson, is nothing significant in the crime or terrorism world happens without some planning, some casing, some rehearsal, and then the act itself, if you're going to be successful. And so those are the operational acts that lead up to a terrorist incident or a major crime. And so rehearsals in this case might be things that he did on his flight simulator. It might be interesting to go back and see what other routes had this captain flown in the months and weeks prior to this particular incident.
On the simulator, you mean?
Or in real life. I mean, what other trips has he taken? Why, as a senior captain, did he bid, the airline people will know what I'm speaking about, that he bid this trip? Was this a good trip for a captain with his seniority, or was this kind of a dog of a trip, but he bid it? That could raise questions as to, okay, there's not a good reason for him to take this trip. There must be something else afoot.
Mary, do you agree with that?
Yeah, but there's a really important point, too. He makes a great point, because just flying on the simulator, we can all fly weird places on the simulator, but you would have had to have gone there to make the contacts, because what's the point of knowing how to land someplace if once you get there you can't do anything with yourself, with the plane, with the plot? So there has to be more than that on the computer. There has to be additional contacts. And by the way, since it was the co-pilot who spoke last and whose voice sounds normal, what we'd also want to know is much more information about him, and is this how he spoke to air traffic controllers? Other people who fly with him need to provide a lot of information about him, because he's the only one we know that's living and talking when the turn is made.